Welcome to the Manifestation Babe podcast. My name is Catherine Zinkina, and I'm a manifestation expert, master mindset coach, and multiple seven-figure entrepreneur. I'm obsessed with helping you achieve everything that you once thought was impossible. If you're looking to massively up-level your life, your finances, your relationships, your productivity and success, then you have come to the right place. My goal in this podcast is to help you see the infinite potential within yourself to be, do, and have anything that your heart desires. Think of this podcast as your weekly dose of mindset development to help you maximize who you are and where you're going. Leave it to me to provide you with the tools, the resources, the strategies, and teachings that you need to manifest a reality wilder than your wildest dreams. I know we're about to have so much fun together, so thank you so much for pushing play today. And now let's begin. Hello, gorgeous souls, and welcome back to the Manifestation Babe podcast. I am so excited that you are here today because this has been a requested episode. And if you read my newsletter where I shared this in my May Manifestation Babe download, then this is the episode where I'm going to go a little bit more in detail as to what this process looks like of training your brain to be your bitch. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, or maybe aren't subscribed to my monthly newsletter where I share with you updates, things that I'm up to, products that I love, community updates, books that I'm currently reading, quotes that I love, etc., you can sign up for that on my website, manifestationbabe.com. But last month, which, wasn't last month, it was sent like a week ago, but it was for the month of May, I shared there a process that I learned pretty early on in my journey of building Manifestation Babe. I would say like 2016 was when I really discovered this. And I don't remember exactly how I put this together, but I noticed that this was such a powerful way for me to train my brain to fulfill the task that I needed to help me complete. And I have been, of course, not perfect, still a human being, still get patterns where I'm not doing this at all, of course. But this is something that's helped me create so much magic in my life. And this is what's helped me stay consistent in my business and help me stay consistent with my personal development growth and essentially complete all my other tasks that I have going on in my life. I'm not just my business. Manifestation Babe isn't all of Catherine Zinkina. It is a part of Catherine Zinkina, mind you, a humongous part of Catherine Zinkina, but it's not all of Catherine Zinkina, right? I obviously do my laundry. I got to shower. I got to bathe. I got to work out. I got to eat. Like there's so many other components to me. And this is something, let's call it a hack that will help you stay super productive, stay in integrity with yourself, and build trust with yourself where you know that the moment that you say you're going to do something, you're actually going to do it. And not just from sheer willpower, but you're actually going to train your brain to help you. I don't want to say do it for you, even though your brain is kind of like making the movements of your body work so that you can take action, but it is going to assist you. And staying in integrity is such a massive piece of manifestation. Okay, a lot of people don't know this. They don't think about this. But when you're out of integrity with yourself, you're immediately out of integrity with the universe. And when you're out of integrity with the universe, it's very hard to manifest your desires because essentially you are both not trusting yourself, which automatically means that you're not trusting the universe either. But also, if you are not in integrity with yourself, how do you expect the universe to be in integrity with you as well? And a huge example where this shows up that I notice is, for instance, an example, I'll have students who enroll, and this is like a rare percentage, small, tiny percentage, but I'll have those students enroll into one of my courses and then they will fall off their payments. Life happens, something comes up. And instead of staying in integrity with the payment plan that they committed to, that they signed, that they would stick with, they end up hiding or they end up not answering our emails from our team, or something happens where they're not in communication. And being in integrity with yourself, what that means is that you're always going to do what you say you're going to do. And if you can't, because we're not perfect, we're not robots, sometimes, things come up. Like totally, we live a human life. Things are going to come up. You're at least in communication with what you said you're going to do. So for instance, if you're struggling to make a payment, at least you're in communication, letting whomever you took that payment plan from, whether it's us or someone else, and you're letting them know like, hey, something came up and I need some extra time. Can you extend this? Can you lower the payments? Can I create a different plan to help me get back on track? And what that does is it keeps you in integrity, right? But vice versa, when you're out of integrity, it is very hard to manifest your desires because you are hiding from yourself. And when you're hiding from yourself, you don't trust yourself. And when you don't do what you say you're going to do, then not only are you not going to trust yourself, you're also going to lack confidence. You're going to lack self-esteem. You're going to procrastinate even more. That leads to more hiding. That leads to more shame. That leads to more guilt, and which leads to more shame and more guilt. And you just go down this downward spiral. Okay. And so integrity is such a huge, huge piece of manifestation. And I noticed that within myself and my husband, because we live together, so obviously with each other 24/7, but also I see other examples of this manifesting, in other people and other people's lives, and just like kind of watching human behavior. I noticed that so many people struggle with this, where they allow their brains, their survival brains, to run the show. And they forget who is actually in charge. Who is the you that's behind your brain? Who is the you that's behind your body? Who is the you that's behind your soul? Your mind. Who is the you that's behind your thoughts? Who is the you that's behind your feelings? Okay, if you keep asking yourself that question, you'll find out that it's consciousness. It is, you are a soul. You are consciousness expressing itself in a body. And your brain is a tool and it's part of your body. But it is not the boss of you. You are not your brain. You are not your neurons. You are not your neurotransmitters. You are not even your body. You're not your thoughts. You're not your brain. You are you. And many people underutilize this, and they allow their brains to be the CEO. Okay. And when your brain is the CEO, you're really stuck in survival mode. And what good comes out of survival mode? Not very much. You're just surviving, right? But we're here to thrive. Don't we all want to thrive? Don't we all want to feel joy? Don't we all want fulfillment? Don't we all want to be happy? Don't we all want to thrive? And so if your brain is sitting in the CEO position, you're not going to get much done. Like, you're not going to create very much, very, very many epic things in your life. And so what this trick does, and how you can train your brain to be your bitch, and really I just created that title to capture your attention. Your brain, you can also say employee. I also like that word. You can train your brain to be your best employee, who helps you, who assists you, who does work for you. You can leverage your brain to create your dream life, and I'll show you how. So in the newsletter, I was talking about how I was telling my husband, I told this to my husband, and he was like, Catherine, this needs to be a podcast, because it blew his mind. And for me, it's like, I've been practicing this for such a long time. I'm like, oh, it's simple. And as I shared with you guys in that procrastination episode, I shared with you that I have previously been in a pattern, and I'm working through this pattern of forgetting that even the simplest things that I apply in my daily life, not everybody knows, right? There's nuggets of wisdom that I have that I think that everybody just knows, but that's not necessarily true. And even when I tell my husband things, or I share with him my perspectives or my perceptions or my thoughts and feelings about certain things, and the way that my brain thinks and the way that I have trained my brain to think, he's like, whoa, never heard that before. Or, oh my God, you need to share that with people because it literally is life-changing. So I noticed ever since I shared this with him, his productivity skyrocketed in the last week. And how this started was really me getting annoyed with him. As every good thing starts, right? I noticed in my husband And this could also be a projection. We can say it's a projection. Maybe I was projecting something. But I was also, as I was watching him, I was remembering an older version of myself where I noticed like he would say that he would do something and within a certain time frame. Like, for instance, he's like, okay, babe, I'm going to work out right now. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to work out. Can you please watch the dog for a few hours? And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, let me just figure out what I can do for the next 2 hours, which is typically how long it takes for him to work out. Since I don't know if you've seen Brennan, like he's very muscular and great shape. Like he loves working out. He's very, very fit. And this is like part of his therapy. So it takes about 2 hours for him. And I'm like, okay, so I literally plan my next 2 hours where I'm going to take the dog outside. I'm going to go on a walk, go to the park, go do something, play, set up like, set something up where I'm entertaining the dog for 2 hours so that when he comes home from his workout or when he's done with his home workout, I can kind of move on with my day. I can move on with my next task. But then what ends up happening is that I'll notice he just sits on his computer for like another hour, then prepares a snack for another hour. Then he's like, oh, I got to digest my food for another hour. And then this workout that he planned on doing, that he told me and himself that he's going to do, happens only 7 hours later. And so after like a couple days of this, right, we're in quarantine. So of course, like very close proximity of each other. We know what the other person's doing. And so after a few days, I notice this and I ask him, of course, because this is who Brennan and I are. We love to coach each other, but we also get very triggered when the other person coaches each other when we're not ready for it. So we always ask for permission. And by the way, I hope you do that with your spouse, is that you always ask for permission, whether you can give them some sort of feedback or if you could incorporate a coaching moment somewhere into your relationship. Because I think that, you know, spouses especially, like we're so close to each other that we can totally see the other person's pattern. Like we almost know the other person better than we know ourselves because we have this alternative perspective. Like when you're trying to find your own pattern with yourself, you're too close to the pattern and then your spouse can totally show it to you. Right. And sometimes even your spouse is too close and you need a coach, like an actual coach or someone else to show you, but that's beside the point. And so finally I'm like, Brennan, do I have your permission to give you some feedback? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, I have noticed that you keep telling me that you're going to do something, or I keep watching you make agreements with yourself. And then you either don't do them or you do them way later in the day than when you intend to do them. And what this does, just so you know, is that this trains you to continuously break promises that you hold with yourself. Because every agreement that you have with yourself is essentially a promise, because you should be able to rely on yourself to do as you say. When you say, I'm going to do this, typically your brain goes, okay, let's do it, right? You can typically trust yourself. But if you keep breaking these promises, what this ends up doing is it trains your brain to constantly and consistently ignore your requests. Okay. And by ignoring your requests, meaning distracting you or doing something else or thinking about something else or sabotaging, right? This eventually down the road leads you to not trust yourself. And what happens when you don't trust yourself? You lack confidence, you lack self-esteem, you procrastinate even more because you're basically putting yourself in this position where you're like, well, I'm not going to do that anyway, so why even bother, right? I haven't done the other 172,000 things that I said I was going to do in my life, so why would I do this? I know I'm not going to do this, so why even bother? And so what ends up happening is your dreams are left unfulfilled because your brain goes, why bother? So when you say, ooh, when you look at your vision board, you're like, ooh, I want that house and I want this car and I want XYZ and all this stuff and all these things and all these people and all these experiences, your brain is now trained to be like, yeah, but why even bother? It's not going to happen. I mean, you didn't do the dishes when you said you're going to do them. So what makes me think that you're going to buy this dream house when you said you will? And I know it sounds so minor, like, okay, Catherine, who the fuck cares about the workout, right? Okay, so what if you said you're going to make your lunch and then you get distracted and you make it like 3 hours later? Who cares, right? Catherine, who cares? So what? So what if it's like something around working out, showering, making lunch or whatever? Well, here's the so what. How you do one thing is how you do everything. How you do the little things in life is how you do the big things in life. And how you do the big things in life is how you do the little things in life. And a lot of people see these levels of importance, right? They're like, this is more important than that, so this doesn't matter. However, to your subconscious mind, everything is just energy. And so everything is important. And so if you're poo-pooing on about half the things, then you're going to poo-poo automatically on the other half of things. And this builds up, people. If you don't trust yourself to complete a minor task when you say you will, why trust yourself to start a business? Why trust yourself to grow your income to 10x what you currently earn? Why even bother trusting yourself to raise a family or buy your dream home or lose weight? Which, side note, I just said lose weight, but something that one of my friends that I follow at zesty.ginger, it's actually my friend Alex and her business partner Megan, they were talking about in their stories yesterday how a lot of us set this goal of losing weight and how our subconscious never wants to lose anything because loss means danger. When we lose something, we immediately go into survival mode. And so very often the reason why we don't lose weight is because we keep telling ourselves that we're going to lose weight. And so instead, when you say, I'm going to release weight, it means that you have excess. You can release it. Oh, I can just release it. It's no big deal. Anyway, I thought that was a fun fact to share with you guys because I noticed that pattern in a lot of people where they're like, I need to lose weight. Even if you do need to lose weight, like you actually do, and that's actually a goal that's going to make you happy, not something that you think you should be doing, but you actually want to, just keep that in mind. You are releasing weight. So anyway, what does doing all of this train your brain to do? To self-sabotage all the time. Now, does the following sound familiar? And these are just like some examples from, for instance, my life, right? That I can think of, or just the average day to day, where you go, okay, today is the day I'm going to do my first live stream. And then nothing happens. I remember doing this like 1,000 times and I was terrified of going live on Facebook. I remember shaking and trembling and being like, oh my God. And literally, you guys, like it's ridiculous. I can do a live stream in my sleep now. It's just like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I go live and I'm like, okay, we're going to hang out today. Like I don't have any topics, but that's okay. And then somehow something flows through that's very valuable anyway, which is just how intuition works. When you tap in, source fills you up with endless content. It's amazing. But anyway, nothing happens. And so you don't do anything. And so the next time you tell yourself, okay, today is the day I'm going to go live, your brain automatically goes, no, you're not. And then it sabotages. Or, okay, tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and go to the gym before I start my day. And now guess what? It's already tomorrow. It's 10 a.m. And you look at the clock and you're like, oh shit, I have so much to do. And I missed my 6 a.m. workout. Oopsie. Or the classic, guys. I've said this a million times. I'm sure you've said this too at some point in your life. All right, my diet finally starts on Monday. My best friend and I, growing up, were notorious about this. It was always on Monday. And guess what? Now Monday comes around, and then Tuesday comes around, and Thursday comes around, and Saturday, next thing you know, it's the weekend. And nothing happened. Uh-oh. And the ultimate pattern where this shows up is, for instance, on New Year's Eve, everyone gathers together and they set their resolutions. And somebody in the group, maybe it's you, goes, you know what? 2018 is my year, or 2019 is my year, or 2020 is my year. This is my year. This is the year that I'm going to start the business, that I'm going to quit my job, that I'm going to move to Australia, and I'm going to get married. Right? We all hear that. It's such a common pattern. It's so common that so many people poo-poo on New Year's goals because they're like, well, the last 20 that I set for myself didn't happen. And so why would you trust yourself to make this new year your year? Right? And then you go, oopsie, the next New Year's Eve, you go, oopsie, I guess I'm going to have to try that one again. Like, okay, this time is my year. And I will do all those things I said I would back in 2008, right? Or worse, you just stopped going through this process. You just stopped setting goals. You stop setting intentions. You stop caring. You give up. So, hopefully this, isn't too familiar for you, but I know for a lot of you, this is going to sound familiar. And so how do we change this? How do we train our brains to flip this, to work for us and prevent this self-sabotaging behavior? So as I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, your brain is your best employee and you are the CEO behind your brain. And most people think that their brain is them, but your brain is just a tool. Okay. We are given so many incredible tools. Our soul incarnates into this 3D world and we're given these amazing tools to make life here in the 3D world work. And one of them is your brain. And your brain is your most powerful survival tool. It comes pre-hardwired to constantly and consistently focus on what's wrong, what's missing, where's the danger, and how can I survive it all? And a lot of people think that those survival thoughts are them, but they're not you. Your thoughts aren't you. Your patterns aren't you. You're not your neurons. You're not your gray matter. You're not a neurotransmitter. You're not your brain or your body for that matter. There's a soul. Okay. There's a consciousness behind all of it that runs the show. And that consciousness is the real you. Okay. That neutral consciousness, the one that's experiencing 3D reality, just being a witness to 3D reality and experiencing it in human form, that's the real you. But leaving your brain to your own vices, your brain's going to do its thing and it's just going to help you survive. But let me ask you this, how many of your dreams are in the category of survival, right? Your dreams are your dreams for a reason because they are what's going to help you thrive. And so we reverse the self-sabotage by training ourselves to be in integrity 100% of the time, starting with the smallest of things. So I call these little training sessions. Okay. And this is going to sound so stupidly simple, you guys, but I promise you, when you start with the tiniest of things and build them up to bigger and bigger things, you could literally find yourself being like, okay, this is the day I'm going to start this new business. And guess what? You're actually going to do it. Right? Or this is the year I'm going to lose 50 pounds or release 50 pounds. And guess what? You're actually going to do it. This is the year I'm going to get married and you actually do it. This is the year that I'm going to buy my dream home. And guess what? You're actually going to do it. Okay. So it starts with something as simple as this. All right. We got to create a pattern. We got to create the tiniest of pattern inside of our brain that says, I'm always going to do what I say I will. And so I taught this to my husband and I said, hey, you literally go into the kitchen. Let's say that you get hungry and it's time for lunch and you want to make lunch. You're already in the kitchen. Take this opportunity to talk to your brain and say, right now, I'm going to make myself lunch. Literally as you're already in the kitchen. Okay. And the result as you're making your lunch, as you're saying that you will, guess what? The result, even though it's so simple, is that you did what you said you're going to do. You made lunch. Success. Okay. Let's say that it's time for your shower. And so as you're walking to your shower, I want you to consciously remind yourself to say the following. Right now, I'm going to take a shower. Right now is shower time. And literally as you're turning on the water, you say it again. Right now, I'm going to take a shower. And then the result is, of course, you actually end up showering because you intended on it in the first place. Like you already made it so easy for yourself. And this is the key here is you want to make it stupid easy for yourself. So as you're walking into the shower, you turn it on and you go, okay, right now I'm going to take a shower. And then guess what? You did what you said you would. You stayed in integrity with your word and you showered. And then like another one is let's bring it up a little bit bigger. Okay. Like Catherine, like we ate, we showered, but like, let's do some work. Okay. So right now I'm going to sit down and work on my website project for 10 minutes, literally as you're opening your laptop. So you're connecting the action to telling your brain what you're going to do. Okay. And as you open your laptop and start working, what's the result? You end up working 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long. At least you did what you said you're going to do. And after some time, your brain is going to get the hint. Okay. And eventually what this is going to lead to, guys, it's going to lead to some magic where your brain becomes your best employee, your best assistant, however you want to look at it, where you go, hey, this month I will triple my business revenue. And guess what? because your brain is now used to you doing everything that you say you will, it will assist you on a subconscious level in attracting everything you need in order to complete this task. And since you are now on a streak of trusting yourself, doing as you say you will, your brain cannot help but keep up this new pattern. It is now hardwired into your brain. This is what I mean by rewiring your brain. It's this repetition, 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 blah, 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 blah. Like say repetition a million more times, okay? And now, in fact, because again, your brain is ultimately like wired for your survival, it's actually going to, this is the crazy part, it's actually going to connect and convince itself that these new tasks that you have is part of your new level of survival. When you say, hey, this month I will triple my business revenue, your brain will go, oh shit, got to do that to survive this month. So let's kick it up in high gear and let's look for the things in our environment that's going to represent the resources that we need in order to create this, right? So this is like a hack that you can go beyond just survival mode and use your brain to help you thrive. So that's basically it. And then you'll find like, you say, this is the month or this is the day or this is the week that I'm going to start my podcast. And then guess what? You're already wired to do as you say. And so it's going to be so much easier. It's not like you can just sit on your couch and let your brain like take the action for you. You still have to get up and do the thing. But you're going to feel like a new level of fulfillment when you trust yourself. And you're going to feel a new level of confidence when you trust yourself. And everything just opens up from that place. So go ahead and try this brain training trick this week. Okay, just give it 1 week, every single day, like as you're making your coffee, as you're going into the shower, as you're getting ready for work, as you're recording a podcast, or as you're posting on Instagram, or whatever it is that you got to do. Change the baby's diaper, who cares, whatever it is. And then just let me know what you notice by the end of the week. Let me know if this helped you. Because though this is revolutionary for me in the beginning, I've hardwired this into my brain, right? And that's not to say I'm perfect. I still catch myself like being like, oh shit, I said I was going to do that yesterday, right? And now I have a team to hold me accountable as to like projects that I need to be working on, because my work, if I don't do it, it can stop the production of the entire team. So now I have additional levels of support, right? But still, like I am now consciously aware of this. And so when I taught this to my husband, he's been more productive. Like literally, he's in the office right now and he's been there for the last 4 hours and just like nonstop doing everything on his list. Like he's just like going through papers, signing things that are very close to something that's part of my ayahuasca vision, by the way. If you listen to my last episode where I shared some frustrations with something, there's a little bit of progress made, which is super exciting. But anyway, he's like doing things and just like so in the zone because of this hack. So let me know if this is something you've struggled with in the past and how this changes the game for you. Screenshot this episode and go ahead and share it on the gram in your story and tag me at Manifestation Babe and just let me know your breakthrough, your takeaway, your aha moment. And I so appreciate every single one of you for sharing my podcast and sharing the episodes that speak the most to you. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate you. It is literally the thing that drives me to create more episodes. It is the thing that gets me on here, fresh out of the shower in front of my microphone, like no makeup on, in a bathrobe, like ready to go, ready to record some content. I just love doing this. And as I share this as a broken record, you guys are my favorite people. My podcast listeners are my favorite people. So yeah, also as a thank you, as I've mentioned a couple times in the past, but maybe this is your first episode, and if it is, welcome. In exchange for any podcast review that you guys leave for this podcast, you get a free manifestation hypnosis. And hypnosis is one of my favorite ways to rewire your brain on autopilot simply by listening to an audio and going into a very relaxed theta state, which is so powerful and so easy. And I give this free manifestation hypnosis in exchange for a review. That's all you got to do. All you got to do is go on the podcast on iTunes, leave a review, take a screenshot, and screenshot it before you submit it. Because if you submit it, it goes into the abyss somewhere, it goes into limbo, and then it comes back eventually after it's been approved. But just to not delay that process and not make you go find your review because it doesn't even come out in order, and then screenshot it before, then submit, then send an email to hello@manifestationbabe.com. Again, that's hello@manifestationbabe.com. And send us that screenshot. And what we'll do in return is just send you the link to the hypnosis with instructions on how to maximize it. So yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you're having an incredible day. Happy day 372 of quarantine. I hope you're staying healthy and safe and happy. And I will catch you guys in the next episode. Mwah. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you absolutely loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on iTunes so that I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't already following me on social media, come soak up the extra inspiration on Instagram by following @manifestationbabe or visiting my website at manifestationbabe.com. I love and adore you so much and can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out there and manifest some magic.